subscribers don't matter at all. I mean, YouTube really changed their algorithm in the space of last year or so, where
YouTube is changing in 2025, and Iman Gadzhi is already adapting to the new algorithm. Now, since he's generated billions of views on YouTube and built an 8-figure business on top of it, I was curious to see what his new approach is. That's why in this video, I'm gonna see what Iman Gadzhi really thinks about YouTube in 2025 and see why he thinks subscribers aren't the most important metric anymore. This way, you don't have to dig into the 2-hour-long podcast like I did.
As I said, I see a lot of people who are selling stuff for $20,000 B2B offers and then, trying to make like a very 5 things I learned to become a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the sort of person that's interested in that kind of video probably isn't the same sort of client that is looking to pay for a B2B $20,000 service. So
yeah, this first piece of advice I couldn't agree with anymore. One time I even had a call with some guy who claimed to be like a B2B YouTube expert, and he was telling people in this coaching call that they should post how I made my first $10,000 a month as a top of funnel video. But it's just completely backwards, because even if you're B2B, there's still top of funnel content that you could post that attracts your ideal customers. Because when you post how I made my first $10,000 online, you're gonna be speaking to the completely wrong audience. You're gonna speak to beginners who wanna make $10,000 a month, not the guys who wanna make $1 million, $5 million, $10 million. So the lesson here is when you're posting top of funnel stuff, you could post something like 7 reasons why your ads are failing instead of 7 reasons why you're not a millionaire.
Thank you for that.
so thumbnails was one. Then main thing was just, even as I said, packaging.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like you could have the best edited, best titled, best thumbnailed video in the agency space, but at the end of the day, the total addressable market of that space is small. And a larger market is online business, but then a larger market from there is self-help, and then a larger market is just like generally people just knowing you. And we have different strategies as well on different platforms. When it comes to our short form now, like, we just like that as general brand awareness. The way I view it is, I'm spending on short form we get about 200 to 300 million views a month. And on that department now, we're spending, like, on Facebook to get that kind of viewership, I would have had to spend 800K, maybe $1 million a month to get that sort, those sort of eyeballs and that sort of impressions. So yeah, the way that I look at things is.
Now there's 2 things to unpack here. And the first thing is all about TAM. Iman said that you could have the best edited thumbnails, videos, and probably the best script in the world, but if your TAM is small, you're not gonna reach a wide enough audience. He used the agency space as an example, but I would still say that's a pretty wide TAM. But if you're like somebody who's targeting healthcare brands doing $1 million per month, like, naturally, even if you have the best quality stuff out there, you're gonna only have, 500, 1,000, 10,000 views max, just because the TAM is so small. And when you widen the TAM, not only does your content talk to more potential people, but you get that snowball effect where it's actually compounding, and we're kind of unlocking these new buckets of the TAM. And what I mean by that is when you go a little bit wider, you might be reaching some people outside of the audience that you want to attract, but that compounding effect means that you're gonna reach more of the overall people that you want to target. And then the second thing he said is that he uses short form specifically for top of funnel content. And I think the overall point that he's trying to make here is that the TAM that you want to reach should start with your specific goals, because if you're somebody who's running ads, you have a lot of top of funnel activity, you can afford to target a smaller TAM on YouTube and just treat it as like this bottom of funnel mechanism. Whereas if somebody doesn't have any top of funnel activity, they're maybe posting a little bit on like Twitter, they're sending cold emails, like, they're gonna need to get traffic to their YouTube channel if they wanna actually book calls from it. So at that point, you're gonna wanna utilize some more top of funnel stuff, maybe widen the TAM on like every other video or like every couple videos, just so you're getting traffic to the channel, getting that snowball effect to compound, and actually reaching new potential buyers.
And then it was just a matter of what levers could we pull and taking it to the next level in terms of how serious we did it. Like, we went overkill. 3 full-time thumbnail editors, even though I was uploading at that point, now we have multiple channels, but at that point I was uploading 1 time a week. So uploading once a week, yet 3 people in-house full-time, because we would go back and we would rehash all of our videos. So every day there'd be a new test.
Yeah, I mean, not even that there's any major takeaways here, but that's just insane to see how ham they went. And it kind of just puts it in perspective, because everybody sees Iman as the YouTube GOAT, and there's a reason, because he's doing stuff like this where he's hiring 3 full-time thumbnail editors. And for context, like, these guys can rip 10, 20 thumbnails from scratch every single day, depending on how good they are, obviously. So maybe that number is more like 5. These guys are ripping heavy volume, and if they're spending all their time just rehashing old stuff, like, that just speaks volumes about like how much effort they actually put in and how much effort it actually takes to work on YouTube.
So you're saying the old videos that have been posted even a year ago. So you have 3 full-time thumbnail editors just constantly changing every video on your channel. Is that really just so like if it gets recommended, because those are all constantly getting pushed, even if they're a year old. But maybe that even like feels like a new video to someone if they didn't decide to watch it the first time they saw it.
Yeah, not only that, but that retest almost gives it and if you split test and you get a better result, then the algorithm will then push it out further.
Yeah, this is something that I'm really interested in. Like, I don't know if this is just a conspiracy. I've done split test across some clients right now where it's like, you know, it might jump a couple hundred views, but I mean, when you have all that volume like they have and all that data, like I'm sure it actually works. I just don't know if it's like an actual conspiracy, but you're seeing guys like Dan Martell, Alex Hormozi, Iman Gadzhi, WAP, if you guys know who that is. Like these guys are split testing stuff, and they're split testing stuff aggressively. If you use a tool like vidIQ, you can just download the extension and you can see that they're like split testing their titles and thumbnails like 20 times. They're re-uploading the thumbnails like 30, 45 days out in advance, because I think that YouTube's new algorithm is actually allowing this to like boost it up in the browse, and it gets re-thrown out there and redistributed, and it just starts to like create more momentum once again, which I just find super interesting.
That will only get 300 or 400,000 views in the first month. And I'm comfortable with that because our business goals have shifted. So the main channel really is for our main educational product suite. That's really what the main channel is for. Then we have the business channel, because for example, you would look at the main channel and you'd be like, okay, cool, this is like useful, but like not at my career stage. Then you look at the business channel and you're like, oh fuck, wow, this person's like, there is a method to the madness. Like he can break down every single thing he does in excruciating detail and with full-blown SOPs and a clear system and an outline for everything.
Yeah, and there's kind of two things here. Once again, like I'm seeing a lot of creators do the same thing. So him, Jordan Welsh, Charlie Morgan, Alex Eubank, they're all kind of tackling the same exact concept, where they have these huge, large channels talking about like top of funnel stuff, like how to become a millionaire, how to make your first dollar online, or just like POV lifestyle vlog stuff. And then they have the second channel where they're actually talking deep into business content. Essentially, they're using the first channel as a top of funnel mechanism to get all this attention, build their personal brand, and just like get a lot of traffic. And then they use the second channel as like a conversion mechanism, because YouTube's algorithm is actually smart enough nowadays to like someone with pixels and stuff like that, like it can determine like what your face looks like, and it's gonna see like, for someone who watches Iman's main channel, like they're gonna push out his second channel to you because they know that's him, they know you watch him. So it essentially is the top of funnel for the first channel, and the second channel is more like that bottom of funnel stuff where they're going super in depth and converting a lot of the viewers that they're getting into customers. And then yeah, the second thing is just like, this kind of goes back to the beginning where it's like, the 7 things I did to become a millionaire isn't gonna resonate with like business owners, but when you're going full depth onto SOPs, training videos, and pretty much throwing every single thing you know out there, that's gonna be the stuff that actually like nurtures the audience and converts them into customers.
Lately, so I'd love to hear your perspective on, just because you have 5 million, it's kind of weird to say, but like it almost seems like it'd be really cool to have like 1,000 to 2,000 followers.
I think it's a massive advantage. I think followers don't matter at all right
100%.
now. Subscribers don't matter at all. I mean, you know, YouTube really changed their algorithm in the space of last year or so, where, you know, I get people on my feed with 37 views, 300 views. I think I was...
Yeah, it's like the same, like first takeaway is like, I'm seeing the exact same thing where it's like, I'll just have random people come up on my browse feed who really just have no reason to be there. It's like stuff that I'm not even like kind of interested in. So I think like the YouTube CEO or somebody on the YouTube team actually made a video about this where he was talking about how, yeah, they're just trying to get like beginners to push content out, because when they push the beginners content out, when they're actually getting traction and you kind of like build that momentum, like you're gonna get more motivated to post more videos. And that means they're gonna post more videos, they're gonna get more people on the platform, and they're trying to give these like smaller creators an extra boost because all of them are just giving up so fast.
I think I was saying this yesterday, like it's funny, I watch about 2 hours a day of YouTube, but I watch on 4x speed. So,
4x?
Yeah.
Is that even possible?
On Chrome, you've got like an extension.
What's it called?
A video speed controller, something like that.
That's the hack.
Yeah. So, and by the way, that's not like for enjoy. Like it's not
time constraint. Yeah, because you want to consume.
Yeah, because basically, I want to be tapped in and I want to know what's going on online.
Critical.
I think a lot of people would be genuinely surprised how like I know every single creator.
It kind of goes like back to the thing I was saying earlier. Like Iman is just like dialed in when it comes to YouTube. Like he had the 3 full-time editors or thumbnail designers at once. And he's like researching YouTube every day, watching dozens of videos on 4x speed just to like see what they're doing, like what's working. And I think a lot of people just forget that Iman was a YouTuber before he was like a great business owner. Like, this guy just knows what he's doing. Now that's exactly what Iman sees working in 2025. But if you want to see what the rest of the micro creators are doing to make money without having tons of views, watch this video right here, and I'll see you over there.